Both teams have 2 rehosts per match. So for all 5 games, they have a total of 2 rehosts. And if they use one, it resets not only your civs, your opponent's civs, but also the map. So that's how it goes. The reason for that is if you really didn't like your opponent's civs, they had really, really good civs or something, and your team had just mediocre civs you're okay with, you are allowed to re-roll. It is a jackpot tournament. I did want to not make it super, some of the matchups, I didn't want it decided by matchups completely, but I did want some really unique matchups in there, so that's kind of how it came about. Problem is, Germany sucks on EP. That's true. They on this map, they could get an FF down. Germany and Portuguese could do a double FF and wall. That is definitely an option. Yeah. Ulan Sec, not Germany. Yeah, but on RE, Ulan is one of the big reasons. So, yeah. Ulan are one of the reasons why Germany is strong, or was strong at least, H2. They were able to get a really big mass out, and they were able to do kind of be the king of, when you're talking just about cav, heavy cav, they're kind of the king of heavy cav in on RE. So on EP, not as much, but yeah. XP nerf 2, yep. It's going to be close. We will see, Turkey Lizard. Kenton even age on time half the time. Yeah, the XP nerf does matter. Thanks for the follow, Neonash. I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, I do intend to respond to chat a lot. Yeah, Hazza and Ozmane, I think, are, in my opinion, despite Kaiser Klein, Fair and Mido being in it, despite earlier, you can watch some of the previous matches. It is all uploaded to YouTube. But we had Prince of Kabul and Samwise as a team. We also had Give You Anxiety Soldier as a team. And then one other one that was... I think those were the really strong ones. I think there was perhaps one more. But anyways, my mind's blanking on who it was. There's one more. My mind's blanking. There's another really, really strong team. And out of all of them currently, I would say Hazza and Ozmane are my favorites for winning the whole tournament, just with how they played, their teamwork, and obviously they're really good players. But Kaiser Clan and Mido, definitely an argument to be made for them being the favorites. I would say Kaiser Klein, Mido, Hazza, and Ozmane. Those 2 teams are definitely kind of a tier above. But Patrick, Sir Musket, they can definitely take some games off, perhaps win it. It is a jackpot tournament. You never know what's going to happen with the civs. But yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm Matthew, and we are getting into it. This is, well, I'll introduce it in a bit, but this is... welcome, everyone. This is the 2v2 Jackpot Tournament. This is the first semifinals match. It is Hazza and Ozmane versus Patrick and Sir Musket. Should be a really good one. The map is Nepal. And I will introduce the players. Hazza in red as Sue. KingofOzmane in green as Dutch. Patrick in blue as Portuguese. And Sir Musket in teal as Germans. We'll take a look at the map. Generally, it spawns pretty fairly. But we'll just confirm that. Going through all of it. This is Hazza here. Then KingofOzmane. Looks pretty good with the hunts and the mines. Yep. Looks good. Alright. So, I have no idea what's going to happen in this match. I have no idea what the strategies are going to be from the players. But if I had to throw out some options, there is some really good civs. Portuguese and Germany can FF. Dutch, very strong boom. Sioux, they have some options for sure. Semi-FF is definitely reasonable. option. Thanks for the follow, Black Pinky. Appreciate it a lot. You still think King of Heavy Cav still on RE? You think France is the thing is I would generally agree with you, but Cav versus Cav, Germany beats France early, and then late game, one could argue that Germany has the best options to deal with France. France is still extremely strong. It's not like Germany walks all over them late game, but they have Dops, they have War Wagons, they have some really good options into the heavy cab of the Gendarme. Getting back to it, jailed picking favorites. I'm just saying they're favorites to win the tournament. I'm not saying they're my favorite team. I'm just saying that there's difference between saying my favorites or my favorite team and they are most likely to win. Let me turn Fog of War off and we can look at what has been scouted. No one going for any TPs yet. It appears it was a food start, so no one's going for any mines either. It looks like Hazza built a TP, an actual TP, not a trade post. He picked up 40 wood, so he chopped an additional 10 wood and built that. That's really, really nice boost for him. Looking around, we are going to start having the decks selected. We have the deck from KingofOzmane here. It's a pretty decent deck. Does not have 3 Hussar, but I think that's fine. No 2 heavy cannon. I know some people really like that. Does have 4 villagers. I'm a fan of that, but a lot of people aren't. Looking at Hazza's deck here. Has the really important Sioux cards. I like it. 15 Bison, very interesting. Not a card you see always. Does have the 6 Seton Bows. 6 Seton Bows, he values that more than the 2 dogs. I can understand it, especially in a 2v2. I like 6 Seton Bows for sure. Looking over at... One thing that is worth mentioning, I want to say there is 7 Seton Bows. I'm not positive, but I think there might be 7 Seton Bows for Sioux. If so, that is a mistake. If anyone can confirm in chat, that'd be really nice to do so. Looking at the Portuguese deck here, it's more of a late game deck for sure. He doesn't have his Age 4 Goon card, +4 range. I think versus Sioux, that is a mistake. That is something that I would definitely have. But perhaps he's expecting his teammate to go War Wagons. If so, that makes some sense. He does have 12 Jaegers. He doesn't have Germantown Farmers or 6 Settler Wagons, worth noting. So taking a look, taking stock of the map, Germany has not aged yet. All the other civs have started aging. A little bit to be expected. With Sioux and Dutch, and Portuguese all age pretty quickly. Germany, you don't get your first villager shipment till a bit later. He is going to wood here. We do see lots of the players going forward to the trade posts. I'm pretty sure Hazza is going to build a trade post. He's got all of his villagers on wood, every single one. Looking over at Dutch here, he's probably going to go for a bank, as is expected. Portuguese, he could go for an FF. His deck does not scream an FF, but I think there's a really good chance with it. He doesn't have as many military shipments in age. He could also add in the 6 Musketeers or 600 wood. Both of those being somewhat expected if you are going to be going for an FF. He is not gathering any coin though, so high chance of him doing him staying H2 at this point. Germany building a market. And looking over at Ozmane, bank is going up. Good timing from him. And he is going to be delayed just a little bit with TC, idle TC time. But I think that's totally fine with Dutch. You're getting your bank up a little bit quicker. That's fine. We do see Hazza getting out several TPs now. That is a lot coming in. He doesn't have idle TC time either. He's doing that a lot with his 400 wood, and both teammates going for that 3rd trade post. Oh no! Sorry, that's Patrick building a 2nd one, and Hazza is not getting the 3rd. All right, yeah. 7. There's no 7 Seton in the Su deck. It's 7 to Aina for Hero. Thanks for catching up on that. I thought there was 2 Seton Bow shipments for Su, but I could be wrong on that for sure. I know there is... what I'm thinking of is the War Club. So I'm pretty sure there's a 7 War Club, or maybe higher. But there's 2 War Club shipments. That's what I was getting confused with. And 1 Seton Bow shipment. Thanks for thanks for throwing that in. Looking at Germany... Germany is not doing an FF either, so no FF from Germans or ports. A little bit surprised by that. That'd be really good to do that. We do see that the German barracks, it looks like, was denied. Villager going down. Really nice pickup from Hazza. We do see that there's a barracks down for Patrick. So well done from him so far. Looking like some of the villagers, all of them make it safe. Okay. And man, Caster's Curse. One of them goes down. And is he going to pick off another one? No, he's not. So, nicely done from him. Picked up 2 villagers already. Let me confirm it was only 2. Yeah, Patrick loses 2 villagers, actually. So, he does pick up the Explorer, too. So, that shipment has already paid off itself. Picking up 3 villagers total and a Explorer. Getting a 3rd. This is crazy. Really, really good stuff out from Hazza. Really fortunate to be doing that well. Looking around the map, it is 2 TPs apiece. We do see that Patrick sent a TP. And looking at the Ulans, they're coming in for a raid now. Ozmane is going to save his villagers and make sure that nothing's lost from them. The Dutch envoy is sitting in the middle of Sir Musket's base. Wonder how long it's been there. Park's coming back to defend. And I don't know that they're going to get any villagers. They're really close to the TC. Pike's coming through now. Yeah, they're definitely scaring them away. Muskets are going to siege down Hazza's TPs, though. And looking around... The Ulans are still around. Let's see if he's... Nope, still no units lost. Really, really good stuff from Hazza and Ozmane, keeping their villagers safe. And, yeah, first axe does go down. Used to be 13 Jaeger. Yeah, they took one off. Really, really strong shipment, and taking one off is a good choice. This villager is hiding in the corner. I don't think he's going to see it. It's pretty close. Oh, that... Oh, he didn't see it. I believe for a second he did actually see it. Oh, and those pikes coming through actually made the cav go towards the villager. That's funny. But yeah, looking at it, we do see some crossbow coming out from Germany now. Villager is being harassed by the pet, and 1 villager went down of Patrick's. So it's been quite a few villagers lost from them so far. 4 villagers from Patrick and 1 villager from Sir Musket. The pikes are going to get in on these axe. There's only 1 left. So bow riders out now for Hazza. One of them do go down due to the musketeers. And we see that the explorer from Patrick has gone down too. That TP is not put up by Patrick just yet, but it looks behind all of this, we see that just now some skirmishers are coming out from Dutch. So the immense amount of pressure put out by Ozmane and map control has allowed a really, really good boom from Ozmane. So that's why they're ahead so much economically, 67 to 55. Militarily, it's pretty close. I would say up until this point, up until the skirmishers coming out from Dutch, the map control was a little bit over to Patrick and Sir Musket. Some really good raiding, though, done from Hazza. And the bow riders are going to get in on top of the crossbow and pikes. And that is rough. Dang, that's a lot of them going down, actually. I'm a little bit surprised as many have gone down as they did. But they're making it away now. I believe that's 3 bow riders down. Let's see how many has been lost total. It is 4. So yeah, I believe that was 3 there. So looking good for both teams in a lot of ways. Hazza just hit age 3 though. KingofOzmane already age 3. They definitely have the advantage here. Patrick just aging now. Why does he 700 wood first? Why does Ozmane do 700 wood first? Or no, why does Sir Musket do 700 wood first? I have no idea, in all reality. Perhaps he wanted to get market ups, but 3 set of the wagons into 700 wood is perhaps better. If you're going for a crossbow really early, then expos are really, really good. But that is not what he did so far. Well, he didn't make crossbow, but I believe he was trying to build a barracks over here. So I don't know. Is what it is. He had to build a barracks and base. Ulan just chilling by that cliff, checking out the sights. But we see the pikes just patrolling there. Really good unit combination from Sue and Dutch. Skirm and Bowrider, really nice. We also see that it is currently kind of the crossbow, pikes, and muskets out from Patrick and Sir Musket. I like it a little bit more from Hazza and Ozmane, but it is worth noting that Patrick and Sir Musket do have the TP line, at least had the TP line. So the eco is pretty close, despite Dutch having 4 banks out. He does have a stable out now, so we may see some Reuter or some Cav out from him. I really like the skirmishers. A few Reuter would be nice to have just to ensure, even though the opponents aren't going Cav yet, just having 10 or so out would be nice. We see the muskets are going in on the bow riders, but I believe there's enough bow riders there to deal with them. And Hazza, trying to be a micro nerd like he is, he's losing very few bow riders. And the muskets are going to pick off the last, so the skirmishers are going to pick off the last musket there. Looking at it militarily, it is 47 to 54. Looking around, where is all of the military pop from Patrick and Sir Musket? Okay, Goon's out here. Goons and Castor. It looks like he aged up with the Castor, likely. No, that's 5. He built those. So, I'm not sure what he aged up with, honestly. Maybe just the fast age. Seems very laggy. Yeah, it kind of tends to be when you have Australian players in the mix, and Hazza and Ozmane, and then I'm from the US. It doesn't seem as laggy as it could be, but yeah. Looking around. Yeah. Alright, so they still have 2 TPs up. Hazza and Ozmane have not pushed out yet. It is worth noting Hazza and Ozmane advanced to age 3 first. But Patrick and Sir Musket not far behind, and we see that they did not lose. They didn't lose a whole lot of map control or anything. Aging a little bit later, Hazza and Ozmane did not take map control really with their push. They took out 1 TP, but that was it. Really good mass out from Hazza and Ozmane though. 75 to 74 military pop. Eco is 89 to 75 with the TP lines. I don't believe that is. Is it Stagecoach? I believe there's a way to tell, but I'm not quite sure. It'll besides just looking at the Stagecoach or the Trade Post Travois when it comes through. Where is it? It's like it's decided to take a break somewhere, I guess. That's crazy. Anyways, I don't believe it's Stagecoach yet. If it is Stagecoach, that's worth about 8 bills having 2, and if it's just the standard trade post, it's worth about 4 bills total. Yeah, so it's worth about 4 bills total. With that coming up, it's about 6, so it'd be about 87 to 91. Really close game, all in all. Hazza and Ozmane have not taken this quickly. Both players are coming up on each other, and Ozmane gets the first shot. They pretty much decided to shake hands before firing, though. I do like the Explorer coming out, tanking some of the skirmisher fire. It is worth noting bow riders versus goons. Let's see if there's a fire pit for Hazza. There is not. So, just looking at some of the stats. Oh, the organs. The organs are going to turn this fight for sure. Organs have are going to be able to make Patrick and Sir Musket control the map really well. All 4 TPs taken up right now. It's looking actually really good from Patrick and Sir Musket. They're putting out a really good showing so far. Reuter, okay, Artillery Foundry coming out now. I'm expecting some culverin and perhaps some cannon later. Let's see what they do with it, though. We see that Patrick is going towards that B, and just trying to make sure that the skirmishers don't take out the organs for free. I think they're going to want to go to the right-hand side a little bit, though. That's a really far forward TC stable corral. We see that Hazza is not currently raiding. He has a really, really good mass, though. It's a lot of axe riders. We'll see how much it can, how much the goons can do. Oh, well, there is raiding going on. The chief and just a couple bow riders. I missed that, my bad. Yeah, so all of the goons coming back to deal with those 3 bow riders and the chief. And yeah, the skirmishers and organs just sitting back a bit. Some Cassador out too. The tracks. Yeah, you're right. You're right on the tracks. It is Stagecoach now. Yeah. Double line of Stagecoach. Gotcha. Thank you for that 9,000 APM bot. I knew that they looked different, but I guess I just don't pay attention to the age 1 or the unupgraded line that much. But yeah, that is Stagecoach in, and the bow riders in the back raiding, and now the Reuter actually raiding a villager on the side, has made it so that they are going to take out some of the TPs. The culverins also, the organs should not be going into the culverins there. Are they bad? Yeah, the culverins are still out of range. But that's enough skirmishers with culverins behind that they should be able to take this fight. As long as everything's microed well. The organs do get off a good shot, and then they pull back. One of the hard things about organs is it's not a fire and then pull back. It's a little bit harder to kite with them, if you will. You don't usually kite with cannons, but it's easier with falconets than it is organs. Really, really good mass out from Hazza and Ozmane is 156 mil pop to 100. Looking at the economy is 116 to 104. As it goes on and on, ports and Germans are going to have better and better eco, especially if Germans had the Germantown farmers, but he does not. So skirmishers coming in. It was nice having all of them bunched up there. They definitely were able to get some more shots on the opponents. But yeah, that's a really, really good mass of skirmishers out. Let's go to military units so we can see exactly how many. It is 68 to 46, so definitely more out from him. There are 11 Cassadors, so pretty close. But I think the big difference is 21 and 24 axe riders and bow riders. The Mamluks coming in now, doing some good work. I'd like the Mamluks to get onto the culverins, actually, though. That would allow the organs to do a lot of work. And the goons going on the bow riders, they are dancing, I believe. Let me confirm that. He is dancing. Not as many as he could. But yeah, bow riders do some really good work onto the goons. The axe riders come in onto the skirmishers. And the culverins haven't done work yet, but they are taking down the first organ. It looks like the army from Patrick and Sir Musket are going to be cleaned up. 7 skirmishers, 3 Ulans coming in. But most of the fight's kind of already dealt with over at this point, honestly. Yeah, 148 mil pop to 81. They definitely controlled this fight really, really well. I like the use of the Mamluks, but I would have liked them to get into the culverins. Yeah, good fight all in all. We see some cav out. It's just really, really hard versus Sue to go cav. Bow Rider's so good. And they're really good versus H3 goons. H3 bow riders versus H3 goons, really good. I would say Ports goons probably have the advantage in H4 with a range card. Patrick not having that though. We'll see what they go with. Looking over on the side, it is a raid out, but Reuter are there to defend. So well done with the Reuters. The Cav do take out the culverins, but I don't believe there's an artillery foundry out for them. Let me confirm that. There is an artillery foundry out actually. And Patrick calls it, or Patrick and Sir Musket. Alright, so we'll get into it. Yeah, looks good. Let's look at the build order. Team 2 Settler Wagons, let's go. Team 2 Settler Wagons, it's worth basically 8 villagers, an H3 shipment. So there are civs that get 8 villagers. It's in 2v2 I wouldn't say it's a must, but it's okay. It's not terrible. And in 3v3 I'd say it's really good because it's basically 12 villagers. In 2v2 it's meh. But oh well. Yeah, I would have liked to see 2 Subtle Wagons and 3 Subtle Wagons and a 700 wood, especially with what was going on with the opponents. But 2 villagers, 700 wood, 3 villagers. I'm pretty sure that there wasn't much of a delay between shipments, so it's okay. It's not. I don't think it's game changing, to be honest. 8 vills, but no 3 free Ulan. That's a really good point. No free Ulan makes a difference. Looking at the military stats here, Hazza gets the most kills. Really well done from him. Looking at the combat XP, we see the same thing echoed there. The resources gathered, KingofOzmane just ran away with that. I think the big thing there was that Hazza put so much pressure on the map just with those 4 acts that Ozmane got off a completely free boom. Hazza did build bow riders afterwards, but it was really just the axe riders that put a whole lot of pressure. We see that Sir Musket, he didn't send the 2 settler wagons in age 2. Let's see if he has that. He does have it, but he didn't send it. So his eco definitely was, you can see his resource gathered were definitely lower. We'll look at villager population for you. And yeah, he was, I don't know why his eco was as bad as it was. Trying to think. Perhaps he only sent the 700, he sent 700 coin too. I guess everyone else sent really a lot of crates. And he didn't send quite as much. We'll look at the, we've already looked at villager population. Now military unit pop. Yeah, I mean, that fight, really well done from Hazza and Ozmane, but they just had a lot more military pop as a team. We can see that. Yeah, it was pretty close early, but it was really just that Dutch eco kicking in that really, really pulled that together, I think. Good game plan from Hazza and Ozmane. I think I'd prefer Sioux and Dutch over Ports and Germans there. But, I mean, some could say a Civ win. I don't think it was a Civ win per se. Germans and Ports could do an FF. I think that's probably your best bet. It's really, really easy to wall this map. You just do a little wall here, little wall here, little wall here, and then your teammate does little wall here, little wall here, and bigger wall here, just a little bit here. It's a little bit. It's not an insane amount of walling. It is a little bit, but you have lots of hunts and mines and base. You're able to get an FF out, get some pressure on the map, and then yeah. But good game plan from Hazza and Ozmane. They take game number 1, and we'll get into game number 2 shortly. When is Kaiser Klein playing? They're playing tomorrow at 17:30 GMT, Neo Nash. More disco, more party. Are you saying you want more music? Yeah. Ozmane carrying his noob teammate. It's a team effort there for sure. Let me get the civs out for these guys, and then I can respond to chat a little bit. The map is going to be map Dhaka, and then going to the civs. This is for Hazza and Ozmane. Japan Spanish. And for Musket and Patrick now, Chinese and Brits. Chinese and Brits. I don't know if they're going to stick with these. I'm pretty sure Patrick and Sir Musket think that they are behind. I know they don't like, from what I understand, they don't like the Dhaka map that much, and they don't like Chinese that much. Yeah, they're going to respin. All right, so we will get to the respins. The map, they've used 1 respin total, by the way. Map is Fertile Crescent. And getting over to the civs. Thanks for the follow, Chumbo Grosso. Appreciate it a lot. China is the first one for Hazza and Ozmane. Hazza, Ozmane, Chinese, Germans. And Musket and Patrick now. Dutch and Indians. All right. If anyone's going to respin here, I would guess it would be Hazza and Ozmane, but I'm not sure that they will. Yeah, tomorrow they're playing at 17:30 GMT. Yeah, if he went 1K wood instead of 2 Subtle Wagons, he wouldn't be on berries. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, TC's left a map. I agree with that. At least one. Hazza and Ozmane respin. My guesstimations are on fire today, and the map is Manchuria, and we'll get to the civs. I'm not sure we've had any double civs rolled, so that's nice to see. Watch it be cast as cursed, and we have some double civs rolled. Hazza, Ozmane, Indians, Japan. And for Patrick and Sir Musket, we'll get to that now. Germans, Patrick, Musket, Germans, Russians. I don't think anyone's going to respin this one. Both teams have used one reroll. Yes. Yeah, he prefers 2v2 over 3v3. That's correct, Nicias. 1v1 and 2v2 are the only things that he really likes. I'm glad you enjoy the casting, Neo Nash. I don't know if you're aware, but I am also an ESOC caster. There hasn't been an ESOC tournament in a little while. I am going to be casting. Just you guys see that 24-hour stream July 4th and 5th. The Incog Empires Cup tournament is going on during that time, and I will be casting some of those games too. If it was reversed, the player difference is huge anyways. Yeah, I hear you in that last game, but really it was the Dutch boom that really carried through there. And Sue is able to control the map really, really well. So I agree that Hazza and Ozmane played it really well, and Patrick Sir Musket could have played it better. Thanks for the gifted sub, Nicias. Appreciate you a lot. Thanks for giving it to Roro BC, man. You're awesome. Yeah, you guys. Yeah, Dutch Sue. I don't know if Germans and Ports got an FF off without taking much damage. I believe they would have an option. Patrick respins. Okay. You sure respin? Last respin of the map. Okay, all right. Last respin for Sir Musket and Patrick. I think they just really, really want to get at least one win, I think is what they're thinking. So Pampas Sierras. Map is Pampas Sierras. I'm sorry there's so many respins, guys, but it is worth noting there's only going to be one more in this whole match. So that is why I tried to have just 2 per team so that there wouldn't be a crazy amount of respins. Portuguese is the first one. Hazza, Ozmane, Ports, Hero. And for Sir Musket and Patrick is Japan. Musket, Patrick, Japan, Sue. No double civs this time. That was really, really good. Why is there teams of 3 and teams of 2? B winner. Each team was allowed to sign up as a maximum of 4 players, with it being random civs. What? A respin? Well, I'm sorry if it is another respin, guys. All right. So it is a respin. This is the last respin. We are not going to have any more respins this whole match. So there is that. Map is Kamchatka. Map Kamchatka. And getting to the civs. French. Hazza. Ozmane. French. Auto. And Sir Musket and Patrick now. Is Ports. Ports, Auto. All right. Honestly, I'd be happy with Ports, Auto, and French Auto. Honestly, we'll see what happens though. Yeah, reading the the India, Japan versus German, Russian. German, Russian would be able to get a lot of pressure out early. I don't think that's something that I would have automatically re-rolled. I think, yeah, we'll see what happens. There's no more re-rolls now, though. Just tuning in, what's the score is 1-0. Hazza and Ozmane up, Octavio. All the re-rolls have been used now. And we'll get into the game. This is Kamchatka. It is not specifically summer or winter. That is something that I decided because the map is very, very different. Whether it's summer or winter. It's much less wallable when it is winter. I don't like the glaring white snow for a tournament match, but is what it is. Yeah. Let's see. 1-0 for KingofOzmane. Yeah, if there's Yaks, there is Yaks. There's always Yaks on Manchuria. India, yeah, India would be really strong with the Yaks. But, I mean, either team could get some. And if Germany and Russia were to get more, then that'd be really good. India, Japan, though, with 4 explorers, they would be expected to get more. They trolling me? Perhaps, Sir Walter Scott. Yeah, perhaps. All right. French auto versus Ports auto. I think this is a pretty good matchup. The map is Kamchatka. There are no more respins for the tournament or for this match. This is, if you're just tuning in now, this is the semifinals of the 2v2 Jackpot tournament. It is Hazza and Ozmane versus Sir Musket and Patrick. Hazza is in red as the French. KingofOzmane in green as the Ottomans. Sir Musket in teal as the Portuguese. And Patrick in blue as the Ottomans. It is 1-0. Hazza and Ozmane are up 1 game. And we are getting into game number 2 just now. So Hazza spawns over here. Make sure that the hunts are fine for him. That appears to be so. Hunts and mines fine for KingofOzmane. Also, looking at Sir Musket here. Also seems fine. And now at Patrick. That looks good. Taking a look at the map. 4 mines, 2 mines, 3 mines, 1 mine. Let me just pause. Map favors Musket and Patrick. Stop unpausing. +2 mines on their whole side. I think everyone starts with starting hunts and mines. Hazza and Ozmane. Up to you to read. Okay. Alright. We're ready to go. It's just something I have to throw out there. It is expected in Age of Empires 3 tournaments that you're going to mention something like that so that the players don't complain later and say, oh, it's the map was so unfair and whatnot. Personally, in 3v3s and 4v4s, if there's only 1 mine or 1 hunt difference or something like that, I personally don't care. I don't think it's as game deciding as in a 1v1 or 2v2. But that's what these players expect, and so that's what I do for them. Getting back into it, it is, yeah, Ottomans and French versus Portuguese and Ottomans. So it should be a pretty good match. As far as what I expect from the players, I expect perhaps Janissaries and Cav out in Age 2, probably from both teams. I expect some Abyss to be thrown in there at some point. And if that is thrown in there, then whoever has... Really, it's just... I think a lot of this match is going to come down to micro. There might be a little bit of a build order difference. I expect it to be mostly the same. When it comes to early Age 2, I would expect France to have a bit of an eco lead over Portuguese. But when it comes to later Age 2 and from then on, I expect the eco lead to kick in with extra TCs from Portuguese. We'll look at the decks now. We see Hazza's deck here. All the wood and coin crates, 8 Expo, 3 Hussar. Has a lot of shipments. He doesn't have the skirmisher upgrade shipment, but I think that's totally fine. That's the least important one. It's only 15% HP. I like that deck from him a lot. Looks really good for a 2v2. Looking at Ozmane's deck here, it's fairly eco heavy, honestly. Lots of plantation and mill cards. He doesn't have 3 Hussar, which would be an option. He doesn't have 4 villagers, which is an option at least. Looking at his age 3 shipments, no Avis in there, and 1v1, that's pretty common. And he doesn't have great bombards to ship either. Looking at the Portuguese deck, alright, I believe this is maybe... No, Patrick was, in last game, he was Portuguese. So, they changed it. Sir Musket going Portuguese this time. Very similar deck, though. Spice trade added this time, and didn't have a sustainable agriculture, the farm upgrade, and neither deck had 600 wood, which is okay. But if you're going crossbow, it's really, really good to have. Looking over at Ottoman's deck now. Oh, this is a different deck. He does not have his 3rd Avis card, 15% HP. It also affects cannons, and teammates' cannons for that matter. He does have a few Spahi in there. It looks like he might possibly revolt having 8 Hussar in there also. We'll see what he goes for. He does have 4 Settlers. Worth noting there. Also has the 3 Hussar. Between the 2 auto decks, let's take a look at the differences. I think for 2v2, I probably appreciate Patrick's deck here a bit more than Ozmane's actually. Ozmane has some really late game sustainable agriculture cigar roller. In 2v2, we don't usually see it going very late game, and especially a map like this where you cannot wall on the ice, I don't expect it to be going as late game as some other maps per se. If you tuned into a previous match, I believe it was Give You Anxiety and Soldier versus Sir Callan and Keister, those games went really long. One notable one was Colorado, but Colorado much easier to wall than a map like this. We see Ozmane and Patrick putting down their barracks at an identical time, practically. Let's see when they both get to the next stage of the. Yeah, that's almost identical. That's like within a second. So very, very close. We do see TC coming forward from Portuguese. That perhaps could make a difference. And the stable from Portuguese is up sooner too. So Sir Musket and Patrick have a little bit of a tempo advantage here. The Explorer from Sir Musket going down though. And it's also worth noting that Hazza went for a TP. Probably a wood start. I'm sorry I didn't pay attention to that. But yeah, it's looking pretty good for Sir Musket and Patrick so far, to be honest. We'll see let's look at Unison Q and see how many it is. Janissaries in Q, and then Cav in Q. I believe Sir Musket and Patrick are going to have units out first though, and TC here too. It is really nice though. He's building an artillery foundry in the back. Looking at the shipment sent is 3 vills, 700 wood, 700 coin from both auto players. So nicely done there. Sir Musket sends 700 coin per shipment, so he's going to have this is interesting. So one of the things about Portuguese is they don't have villager shipments. An artillery foundry out from Patrick too, so very mirrored start. But yeah, so age 2, French have villager shipments. It's going to take a little bit of time to pay off. Portuguese doesn't, so they one thing that's pretty common is to age 600 coin following 700 coin. I'm not sure I like that. I think perhaps he has another shipment too. I would have rather sent like 700 coin and then maybe 700 wood or 700 food, and then if you want to go back to 600 coin after that, that's fine depending on your macro. But Ava's coming out now, and it's really, really close. We'll go back to the military units. I believe there's one more. Yeah, a couple more Janissaries out, but yeah, let's look at the cap come in now. Take down 1 Avis. And really good micro from Patrick there. He takes down Avis of the opponent. So really close. And more Cav come out now. There's Cav from behind. The 3 Hussar sent 3rd. That's going to be really, really nice for France. And I think they're going to take this fight. The musketmen and the Minutemen and the crossbow come out though. This is really, really close. Not enough Janissaries out. The Cav doing a whole lot. But the Minutemen and the crossbow doing a lot. The Hussar come out now. I believe Patrick and Sir Musket are taking this fight. This is really, really good from them. Yeah, they're taking this fight. 38 to 18 military pop. With taking this fight, they might be able to just take the game. Honestly, that's a huge advantage early. And it's definitely going to put Hazza and Ozmane on the back foot. And the Cav coming through forward, there's not enough Janissaries there. I believe there's only 3 Janissaries there versus all those Abyss. And they're going to take down the Janissaries now. The Cav going in onto the Abyss. There is a barracks, a secondary barracks going up by Hazza, but the villagers might go down before that goes up. The barracks is going to go up, but the villagers, yeah, it's a huge tempo advantage over to Hazza and over to Patrick and Sir Musket right now. They might be able to take this game, actually, guys. The Cav coming out, they are going to go down. Perhaps a little bit better micro could have been done, but the Janissaries and Abyss come out now, and the Minutemen just sitting over here. And the Abyss pulling back a bit. It's really, really close. 22 to 41, though. That's more Abyss coming in from the back. It's looking really, really good for Sir Musket and Patrick currently. Looking at the eco is 52 to 41, so better eco for Hazza and Ozmane. But militarily, Sir Musket and Patrick have the lead. And at this point of the game, with both FBs so close, the military advantage for Sir Musket and Patrick is really, really good. So looking really, really good for them, as good as it could have possibly been. The Abyss, they fired on the Minutemen, and the Cav going on the Minutemen. Some muskets do come out. That was the muskets shipped from the TC from the home city. Got a fight going in here. The micro of this is going to be really, really important. It looks really close though, 37 to 30. It is worth noting that the units from Sir Musket and Patrick have to go farther to the fight. 27 to 22, really close now, but we'll see what happens. The last Cav goes down, and it looks like the Cav out from Sir Musket are still able to do a lot. It is 22 to 23, really, really close at this point. I think it'd be really good if Sir Musket and Patrick, if they were to just sit on top of the military buildings here, and instead of trying to push it so far. But they do take out the units. It is 22 to 15, 22 to 13, mind you. And it looks like Hazza is going to raid. They've realized that they have lost all of their military, and looking really good for Sir Musket and Patrick. It's going to take some really good gameplay from Hazza and Ozmane to come back in this game. Economically is 56 to 48, so it's close. They also do have the second TP that has done a lot over time. And it looks like some of the villagers are going to go down, though, for Patrick and Sir Musket. So some good raids coming in, but it looks like some more calving coming in. And some really good micro from both players, actually. It is looking at the HP of all of them. Hazza's going to win this fight with 2 more coming in. It does look like, so the first barracks from Ottomans has gone down. But yeah, a couple villagers going down because of that. Looks like we got the units lost. We can see KingofOzmane lost 2. Patrick and Sir Musket lost 1 and 2 respectively. I didn't see when Ozmane lost his villagers. Let's see if there's HP down on any of his anywhere. There must have been FB villagers, forward base villagers. It is Sir Musket and Patrick having the military lead though. Hazza and Ozmane are not looking to age up anytime soon. Sir Musket sitting on 1,000 wood. That's probably mostly from a 700 wood shipment that just came in. But yeah, let's see what happens with the rest of this. Another villager is going to go down for Patrick. They are definitely behind economically. It is going to come closer and closer with the second TC working from Sir Musket. But they have a huge lead, or had a huge lead militarily. Right now it's only 36 to 50. They did not have to rebuild their military buildings though. And Hazza and Ozmane did have to do that. Looks like some villagers are perhaps going to go down here. Patrick and Sir Musket both having some villagers there. Cav do come in though. Most of the 4 Cav would be able to beat. Oh, it's 4 versus 4. I thought it was 4 versus 3. My bad. So depending on micro, 1 player could win that. And Patrick and Sir Musket pull back after taking down that military building. That'd be a wise choice to do so completely. They have not done so completely yet. The Explorer does go down from Sir Musket plus 45 XP over to Ozmane. And we'll get into the next fight in a bit. The Cav out from Patrick, that was a shipment, is doing a lot. It does look like, in this fight though, it's really, really close in all reality. 42 to 49 military pop, but there's more military pop in trying to deal with the raids from Patrick and Sir Musket, so they pull back. Looking at the units, though, I'd like to see more Abus out from Patrick. You see that muskets are added in by Hazza. It is muskets and cav. For Hazza, Ozmane has Abus, and Janissaries a little bit heavier on the Abus. And yeah, when it comes to a lot of infantry, look at that micro. Good micro from Hazza there. Just playing around. For anyone curious, villagers in melee mode do a lot more damage than in ranged mode. So that's why the cavalry is pulling back and getting an attack in, and then pulling back, but that will be dealt with now. Back to the fighting. Let's take stock of the situation. We see that Hazza has just hit age 3, so really good timing in from him. Patrick, Sir Musket, and KingofOzmane are not looking to age up anytime soon. We do see some units going off to the left-hand side here. House wanting to be built by Hazza, but it is not going to be. And muskets come over to the side. Both teams recognizing Hazza recognizing that he needs to go over to this side to get for more hunts. He's kind of running out of hunts and base, as is Ozmane. Some good raids over here from Patrick, and they're gonna fight this maybe. Looking at the HP of, oh yeah, he should be able to take that fight. Looking back at this over here, the Abus are doing really, really well pushing this over here. The Abus from Ozmane are coming over here though. I really, Goon and Abus are, I think, what is going to come down to for this match. Whoever has more Goons and more Abus should probably win. It does look like Patrick cleaned up the rest of that though, and they pull back. So at this point, I really, really like the age 3 from Hazza. We see that Sir Musket is aging now. But Hazza and Ozmane do have a tempo advantage, do not have map control at all. This is the only hunt outside of this hunt in base. Okay, there's they have more hunts than it looks like on the mini-map. But they're running out of resources, that's for sure. This is the only 2 mines left. That one's basically gone. 500 left on this one. So they're going to have to push out really soon. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. It does... Ooh, this is interesting. This army's a little bit cut off. Yeah, these armies could... this army from Ozmane and Hazza could do a lot. More goons coming forward. That's important. That's really important. TC Wagon, that was an age up fast from Sir Musket. And the Abus coming that were just made go down. Abus and Janissaries, I believe. So yeah, this is a little interesting here. Oh, and we saw, okay, so the army from Patrick revealed himself. He got 1 villager down, but the goons going on top of the Abus now. This is, oh, but the Abus from Ozmane are going down to those cav. Oh my goodness, the goons are gonna are out of position. That's a lot of Abus going down. Sir Musket, man, he cleaned up so many Abus there. That was 10, 15 Abus, something like that. Really, really well done. Really, really, despite Sir Musket and Patrick being cut off from each other, they do some good damage there. The Falconets do a really, really good shot there, though. And it's looking good for Hazza and his main at this point. But that was a lot of Abus going down. A little bit of a mistake from Hazza to go light over like that. Yeah, militarily it is 91 to 40. All of the army from Patrick being cleaned up. All of that army, at least. Looking over at the side, it'd be nice to have a good raid over here onto this mine. But Hazza and Ozmane are a little bit more vulnerable. Their eco is a little bit more vulnerable, but they have the military advantage here. The economy is very, very close at this point, 76 to 74. Militarily, though, huge lead over to Hazza and Ozmane. That's just a lot of Abus. It's going to take a while to be able to make a similar amount. And in more reinforcing with more Abus, I think they're just going to have a huge advantage from this point on. Some raids onto the villagers, though, I think are Sir Musket's and Patrick's avenue back into this game. Really just splitting up your army like that. for both teams is what really gave the opponents an advantage. Lots of Avis going down there, though, for Ozmane, but all of the army going down for Sir Musket and Patrick. Some Cav coming in. Good pop, but that's not enough, I don't think. Oh, Cav coming in from the side. Oh, this is actually really, really good. There's not enough goons there to deal with this. Some more goons coming in, but the Explorer even delayed them a bit. The Falconet's going down now, and Avis going in. The Avis need to focus on the goons, and the Avis of Patrick needs to focus on the goons. And the Cav, there's a lot of Cav, but I don't know that it's enough. Some really, really good micro from Hazza and Ozmane, but that is... yeah, they all go down. So, Hazza and Ozmane do weather the storm. Some really, really good... Look at how low all those Cav are. It's the... Basically, Sir Musket and Patrick have almost no army left. Really, really good engagement there. Really good tactical positioning. It would have been nice to delay just a bit, or at least have the Cav come in just a bit sooner from the side. They could have done it slightly better, but that was really, really close. If the Cav came from the backside right as the Cav came in from the front and from the stable, that would have been... it was a game of just seconds there. Really, really close. We do see the scout out from France, something I had not mentioned earlier. I hadn't seen it till just now, but that could prove to be pretty nice. Villagers going down for Sir Musket. At this point, I think, well, it's really close. It is worth noting, 2 Falconets were sent by Hazza. No one else has sent 2 Falconets yet. So, Falconets, a Castor shipment. That's nice. More Cav coming through. With the 4 Cav sitting back. That's a lot of goons, though. A lot more goons than was around earlier. So, we'll see what happens this fight. The Avis need to focus on the goons, and they are... It is 58 to 67. Sir Musket and Patrick have the military advantage at the moment. That we see that courtesy of Ozmane aging to 4. So perhaps a mistake in aging. Pretty much all of it. Avis going down. The Castors and the Avis doing a lot of work. Really, really good from Sir Musket and Patrick. They have the military lead now. Economically, they do have the lead there. Age-wise, they do not have the lead. We see Patrick and Ozmane is aging to 3, not 4. So he is aging to 3. The Patrick he has not aged yet. He's not very close to aging either. So we'll see what happens. The Gendarme coming in though, that's really, really nice. Gendarme are going to be able to clean up all of this. The Janissaries are not good enough. The Gendarme clean up other Cav really, really well. Those Avis should go down. And the swing back to KingofOzmane and Hazza has begun. The Janissaries and Cav just need to cover for the Avis as well as possible, but oh, they pulled back. Oh, I was not expecting that. The goons and I feel like he could have taken that, but he decides to pull back. We do see Outpost and TC very far forward from Ozmane here. Sir Musket and Patrick have very few things, natural resources left on the map. They're going to go to mills and plantations very, very soon. Let's go back to the whole map and see. There is a mine missing here. Perhaps they're expecting one to be there. But Hazza and Ozmane with the TCs are just doing a whole lot. Yeah. Alright, so this is interesting. Gendarme do come into play. Very, very good there. This is a really close game, guys. This is closer than I was expecting. Last game, honestly, it was a bit of a Civ win, but I think Sir Musket and Patrick could have played it differently. This game, though, Hazza and Ozmane, they're playing it really well. Sir Musket and Patrick playing it really well too, and we see that it's a really close game all in all. Economically, 98 to 97. Militarily, 88 to 67. Ozmane is H3. He is putting up his 3rd TC now, and Hazza already on 3 TCs. Portuguese Sir Musket has been on 3 TCs for a while, but Patrick still not even close to aging. Is he? How many villagers is everyone on? Let's take a look at that. Patrick is on 32. Ozmane on 38. Sir Musket on 68. Hazza on 51. So they had not built a mosque for a long time. Let's take a look at their decks real quick. They both have 700 wood, 600 wood. Yeah, they do. So, yeah, close game all in all. I think a lot of this game is going to come down to Portuguese versus French. Ottomans, both Ottomans are really, really far behind economically. But Ozmane's definitely ahead of Patrick, so he's going to be able to offer a bit more, I think. Yeah, I'm kind of... I almost always root for the underdogs. Despite things going on, you know, drama, whatever, and whatnot. I'm rooting for Patrick and Sir Musket for sure. Hazza and Ozmane, while I consider them favorites to win the tournament, they're not like my favorite players or anything. Definitely different there. We do see an outpost trying to be put up by Sir Musket. Where's the villagers for that coming from? Nowhere? Okay. Yeah, Hazza and Ozmane just taking the natural resources from the opponent's side, I think is something that's going to really play a difference in this game. Sir Musket and Patrick are going to be resigned to mills and plantations. Patrick is aging up in just a bit. But yeah, Patrick is just so far behind behind Ozmane at this point. 45 to 32. Does he have more villagers in queue? I don't know. Maybe he forgot to do the mosque up. Let's look at text being researched. He's upgrading that one now, so he probably he at least noticed it. Probably should have 47. Yeah. So yeah, looking really, really good for Hazza and Ozmane at this point. Really close game all in all, but yeah, just taking the more natural resources is going to be really key. Looking around the map, there is a few mines left, almost no hunts left, a little bit of a hunt here, but almost nothing left. And Sir Musket is dealing with a TC on the left. What that means for Hazza and Ozmane is, okay, you're dealing with that TC, that means your army is not in the middle here. But honestly, with the Abyss advantage, does he have the Abyss advantage? I don't know. It's really close. But with all his army being over to the side here, it's gonna allow Hazza and Ozmane to push in the middle. So some would say that it's risky having your TCs off to the side, but if you take advantage of army being there to deal with it, then it can be really nice. Military elite is 99 to 119 though, so really close in that regard. Looking at the upgrades, the Portuguese upgrades should be a little bit better than for the goons, a little bit better than the French upgrades. 270 here. I'll show this for everyone. 270 HP and 31 attack. And looking over at the goons of Sir Musket is 280 HP, 30 attack. So slightly better for Portuguese. I haven't done the math, and I'm not going to do it on stream to see like how it affects how many shots are done to each other and whatnot. But theoretically, it could be the same amount of shots to take down certain units, so it may not matter all that much, but it is worth noting. We do have a big raid coming in on here. A couple villagers going down, 4 villagers going down. That's not the end of the world, not for Portuguese, but yeah, Sir Musket does take control of the left-hand side now. Economically, is 134 to 97. Huge lead for Ozmane and Hazza at the moment. Looking at the economy, it's 29 to 53. That explains it. 67 CDB out for Hazza and 68 for Sir Musket. So big lead for them. Look back to shipments sent. It is 139 to 104 on the military. So they need to make it work. They need to do some big damage, Patrick and Sir Musket, in the next few moments. Otherwise, they can't let the economy of Hazza and Ozmane kick in. But we'll see if it does. The Explorer from Hazza does go down to villagers. And Arsenal coming up right now for Portuguese. That is going to mean that his goons are going to be even stronger than the French ones. Still no Arsenal up from Ozmane, or from Hazza rather. He does have several mills and plantations down, as does Ozmane. So really, the difference right now is that there's very few mills and plantations out for Sir Musket and Patrick. So they have a timing window here where they are still on natural resources, and the opponents have gone over to mills and plantations, and they need to make their push work in the next few moments. Otherwise, it's going to look really, really dire for them. This is those goons might be trapped a little bit. This is going to be this could be a really, really good fight. This is a fight that Patrick and Sir Musket need to take. This 159 to 108 military pop, and they should take it, and they are taking it. That's a lot of Avis there, a decent amount of goons, but a lot of Avis and just same amount of goons. The main difference in this fight is there's a bunch of cav out for Sir Musket, so it's looking really, really good for them. Let's see if they can take it though. This is really, really close. I believe they're going to take this fight for sure. It's definitely looking better for them. Good stuff out from Sir Musket and Patrick, and I don't know if they're going to be able to push this all the way to victory, but they have a good chance of doing so. And the cav need to get onto the Avis though. Pretty much all the goons are down, so well done from them. And this is looking really, really good for them. I like this. Patrick and Sir Musket might take this game. They just held on to the natural resources a bit longer. They're all out of them at the moment, just now building some more. But they have the military advantage when their transition to mills and plantations for Hazza and Ozmane came through. So this could be a really, really good game. 127 to 74, 160 to 104 economically. So huge advantage over to Hazza and Ozmane. We see that Patrick is still on 1 TC. They need to make it work now. 72 to 100 military pop. This is not as good as they needed. Veteran Avis guns also have one more. Oh, dang, they call it. I think perhaps they were just looking at the score. Oh my goodness. GG. Oh, if they could have taken out all of the army of Hazza and Ozmane there, they had a really, really good chance. They wouldn't have been able to reinforce their armies very much. Hazza and Ozmane would have been able to, but if they prevented Hazza and Ozmane from building up building back up, then they had a chance there. But really, really close game. That was one of the closest games of the tournament so far. Looked really, really good. Look at the military units killed. We see Hazza did an exceptional job there. Something that's worth noting, despite 92 and 78 Avis being made, the Avis did not control the game as much as you would expect as in a 3v3 or 4v4. Usually whoever builds Avis just landslide has the most units killed and most combat XP, but we see that not to be the case here. Looking at resources gathered, Patrick and Ozmane definitely lowest. We see it was actually pretty close until about here when he starts building more TCs. Hazza and Musket pretty close too. We saw that early, like I was saying, early the TCs out from, or extra villagers out from Hazza paid off, and then as it went on, the extra TC in age 2 made Sir Musket be able to catch back up and resources gathered. Hazza went to age 3 and built more TCs, and just the CDB being as efficient as they are, he ended up pulling away a little bit there. Look at villager population, and we see that there. It is echoed. It's worth noting, it's the 20 Patrick, let's see, so 25. Interesting. He sent 4 villagers really late. That's interesting. At that point, I don't know. One thing I haven't done before, but could be pretty interesting. If you're trying a really hard push, go to for like 24 villagers and then send the 4 villagers, but or 25, I guess, and then send it right then or something. I don't know. Yeah, pretty close from everyone involved, but some good games for sure. Yeah, really, really good game. That was one of the best games in the tournament so far. We see Sir Musket and Patrick showing up and taking it, really making Hazza and Ozmane be able to play really, really well. That is second game over to Hazza and Ozmane, and we'll get into the last game in just a bit. All right, this is semifinals. Yes, it is Perisetta. Yeah. Curation raids behind when the main team fight was happening. Yeah, sorry about that, Neonash. I should have. Yeah, sometimes you can only catch so much. All right, we'll get with the map first. Yeah, especially as a solo caster in a 2v2, it can be hard to catch everything, but thanks for pointing that out for the viewers. Map is Wabakimi. And no one has any rerolls, so this is what they're going to be stuck with. There are no rerolls. No one can do... there were rerolls, but everyone used it. Sue is the first Civ. Hazza, Ozmane, Sue, and Dutch. So same as game number 1. And then for Musket and Patrick, it is Aztecs. Musket, Patrick's, Aztecs, Auto. Alrighty. Oh, I like this. So both Team Civs has some good synergy. Aztecs and Auto has some really good synergy. You can go Mace and Janissaries. You can go Janissary Abyss mix with Coyotes. You can go Puma and Abyss, which in a 3v3 or a 4v4 would be kind of a really good option. But in 2v2, maybe not quite as much. I have no idea what they would go with. Sue and Dutch, probably going to be Skirms and Bow Riders. That's fairly expected. And if that is the case, perhaps maybe even Mace with a few Puma, and then Abyss with a few Janissaries would be really strong. You're going to need to do something about the raids. It is worth noting this map, if you wall the top here between the cliffs, then everything's going to be funneled down to the bottom. So the raids are not necessarily going to be quite as effective as the other way. Patrick and Sir Musket, I think I'd be fine with Aztecs and Auto, to be honest. Dutch are really, really strong. Really strong on EP. So that is worth noting. But yeah, G to the G. Really, really good. Let me read the rest of the chat. Yeah, too few Hus. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. Yeah, they probably would have lost no matter what. It would have been really hard to, with just so much more economy. But they had a chance. There was a window of opportunity. Their win condition was still available until the end of that fight. So, yeah, that's just what I like seeing. It's looking like some ping issues. All right, so Aztec and Auto versus Sue and Dutch. I don't think this is a clean, like, I would... Sue and Dutch have the eco advantage. Aztec and Auto, they do not have a clear... both teams can be pretty good, but Abyss are really strong. Mace are really strong. Aztec and Auto are amongst some of the best rush civs in the game. Sue, they're one of the worst civs at dealing with a rush, actually. They on EP, they're much better than RE, their eco is, but yeah, Dutch also, if you do too many banks, it can be really, really hard to deal with a rush. So we'll see what happens, but here we go. This is game number 3. Hazza and Ozmane are up. If you're just joining now, this is the 2v2 Jackpot Tournament semifinals. Hazza and Ozmane versus Sir Musket and Patrick. It is 2-0 in favor of Hazza and Ozmane. Some really, really good games, though, up to this point. And we say why they are in the semifinals. KingofOzmane and Hazza are up 2-0. And we'll take a look at the map real quick for you guys. Hazza spawning in red as the Sioux. He has his hunts and mines. Looks good for him. Ozmane spawning in the green as Dutch. Also has hunts and mines. Looks good. And then Sir Musket next. He is Aztecs. Spawning in yellow as the Aztecs. Has his hunts and mines. And now looking over to Patrick. He has his hunts and mines. Patrick is in blue as the Ottomans. So this map, getting to the map a little bit, there is the trade route along the bottom of the map. Looking at the resources, it looks like it was a 100 food start. Yeah, so bottom of the map, there's a trade route that can be pretty important to fight over. In a 2v2, it's not as important, but 3v3, 4v4, the bottom of the map has a lot more hunts and mines than the top of the map, and it's really important to take control of that. So 2v2, there's a lot of options available. It's actually, this is a really, really good map for 2v2. One thing we often see is some walling on the top side. It's worth noting that Sue didn't spawn on the top, so that's nice for them. It would have been a lot harder for Ozmane to walk halfway across the map to build a wall. So that's good to see. There is a little bit of fish. We see that really the few bits of fish, it's only 500 food per, and I believe it's only 6, so that's only 3,000 food. There is 3 crates in the middle, 100 food, 100 coin, 100 wood. But really the water just provides a map control option. And it gives you some tactical positioning, some tactical advantage. But yeah, that's what we see out here. And yeah, we do see Ottomans building a TP, just a house. And we'll see what the players try to do. We'll get to the decks. All right, so 3 vills, team 3 vills, 5 vills, 3 warrior priests, and then several military shipments too. Notably, he does not have infantry train faster. Also, no farmer plantation ups, and no eco ups at all. In fact, has 700 wood, infinite 600 coin, infinite 800 coin, and Team 1K coin does have infinite 20 mace. It's actually a pretty good card in all reality. It is, so let's do the math real quick. That is 800 food and 600 wood worth of maces. So it can be pretty nice. It's also infinite, obviously. Looking at the Patrick stack real quick, he does have a couple warships he can ship. Did update his deck a little bit. And looking over at Dutch here. Alright, so he has, I believe, in a previous game, I think it was Soldier, did not have Church card or Bank cards as Dutch. And that proved to be, I think, one of the main reasons why they lost a game. But we do see that Patrick has that here. I like that choice. If it goes late, those are very, very important. Early game, doesn't matter quite as much. Looking over at Ozmane's deck here. Wait. Sorry. Ozmane's deck, my bad. Sorry, so this is Patrick's deck. And then looking over at Ozmane's deck. Sorry. Ozmane has a good deck. That's what I meant all along. You guys know that. Sue's deck, pretty comparable to... they played Sue and Dutch already, so pretty good stuff out for them. Looking at Dutch's deck, they don't have any warships, so that's really, really important to note. We'll look at the line of vision that the players have. It looks like... Okay, we do have a forward barracks out from Ottomans. And the coyote or the wolf is going to scout it. So nicely done from him. So Hazza was really low HP on his scout or on his hero, and he had to not build a TP for a little while. So really well done from Sir Musket denying that TP going up as much as it did. Delayed that a lot. Really well done. I like that choice. Really good play from him. We do see Villager... Oh, okay. Age Up Travois from Aztec. Sending those forward. Favoring a little bit closer to the shore. I like that choice. Your opponents don't have warships. They probably have noticed that at this point. You usually take a look at your opponent's decks at high levels of gameplay. This CDB also being harassed a little bit. And favoring the water side, you see your opponents don't have warships, that's fine. But your teammate can send warships, and then that will be a really hard position to push into. If there's 2 galleys here and the 2 war huts, it's going to be extremely hard for Hazza and Ozmane to push that back. Perhaps with cannons or something in H3 they will, but H2 I don't expect that to happen. Yeah, second barracks out, so it's I expect it to be Mace and Janissaries for them. So no Ibis, nothing like that. Looking over at everything else, yeah, I like the choice to go Janissaries. Janissaries, you're able to pump out a lot faster. You're able to push a lot faster. Am I streaming after this game? I will be streaming after this match, right, Coke? I may not be streaming. Well, I'm going to be streaming after this game for sure, but I am not writing this in the books. We see from last game, Sir Musket and Patrick able to do a lot. Janissaries out now. It looks like that was a batch. That's 5 Axe Riders. That was not a shipment from Hazza. There's no 4 Axe shipment out from him. So we see that the 3 vills, it's actually 5 vills. It's not actually a 4 vill shipment. On EP it was changed. But lots of mace coming out, and I believe they can push in now. Nice. Stealthy Jags coming forward. And that could catch the Axe Riders out a lot. That is going to be exciting to see. And they're going forward now. And the Axe Riders... That could be a really nice... Oh, and they come out. Oh, they reveal themselves. Perhaps a bit of a mistake. Perhaps there's a delay, though. I don't know if there is, but being that Sir Musket and Patrick are from Australia, there's a good chance there is some delay. 5 Coyotes sent, and they're going to get on top of the skirmishers. This is a really, really good mass, 47 to 44. But the Axe Riders may not have much of a chance to do a lot of damage. That's a really good mass of mace. A really good mass of skirms, honestly, is 730 from Ozmane, having built 3 banks already. Really good mass of skirms out from him. And we see the Janissaries gonna get cleaned up. It looks like it's looking better for Hazza and Ozmane. Sir Musket and Patrick pushing in, and the Minutemen come out now, and it looks like they're gonna get cleaned up. That is, when your armies are very identical, you don't want to push into your opponents. I think Patrick and Sir Musket realize that they are on a timing window. Dutch have the ability to boom like crazy, and they do lose that fight. Despite them recognizing that the army military populations was pretty close, perhaps they just thought, you know what, we really need to make something now happen. We have to push in. We have to make something happen now. It is worth noting that the skirmishers from Ozmane are going to do really, really well versus the mace out from Sir Musket. Coyotes do get in on the skirmishers now. That's some good stuff out from them, and they're doing a lot right here. But the Axe Riders come in and save those skirmishers. This is actually pretty close. The military pop over to Sir Musket and Patrick, but they have some really good units to deal with this. Janissaries pull back. The Coyotes did work, though. A lot of the skirmishers going down, and they call it. Alright, GG. Well, they gotta resign first. GG does not constitute them actually losing. Are they gonna resign or not? Perhaps he typed it, and then Patrick is saying, hey, hold on. Let's just try. This is our last game. Let's try to make something happen. Yeah, I don't know. We see economically the Dutch just is insane. Sioux actually having a really, really good eco here too. And so a couple villagers go down from Patrick, and they have not resigned yet, but I expect it to be soon. I don't know what's happening. He's dancing for warrior priests, I would assume. And Janissary is coming back to try to defend. That explorer could have been revived. Alright. They said GG, but maybe they just meant, oh, that should be GG, but we're not actually going to resign now. Yeah. Axe Riders coming in for a raid. They're going to get at least one villager here. They do get one villager. And taking down the market would be kind of a win. That's like 70, 80 wood lost. Warrior Priest was created. Some cav coming in now means there's a stable built. Yes, there was a stable built. The Bow Riders are going to deny that Explorer coming up. Another villager goes down. Axe Riders may get caught by the Hussar. And more villagers going down. The Axe Riders are just ignoring the cav and trying to focus on the villagers. A few more villagers go down. Let's go to units lost and see that. It is 4 villagers and 2. That was all from the 2 from the FB and then 4 in base. Ozmane and Hazza have not lost a single villager yet. Alright, Skirmishers coming back. Bow Riders going forward. I don't like the choice to stick with as many gens as you have. You need to... perhaps something that would have been really nice is Abyss with Puma. Ozmane hits H3. Okay. Abyss with Puma. They're pushing forward now. I think this will decide the game or not. 62 to 62 military pop. There is a decent amount of cav and coyotes, but there's enough bow riders to defend that, I think. And a few pikes too to shore up the differences. Looking back at shipment sent, 8 pikes are going to do a lot towards just keeping the cav from getting on top of the skirmishers. A couple of villagers going down there, but I think honestly Ozmane is fine with that, them being focused. I'm pretty sure they realize that if they win this fight, they should win the game. The coyotes get onto the bow riders, not ideal. 50, 60, 65 military pop. There are the cav get a multiplier versus skirmishers. Janissaries get no multiplier versus opponents, but they call it Sir Musket resigns. And he says, good luck in finals, guys. Alright, so Hazza and Ozmane take game number 3. Yeah. Tactical GG. Yeah, it could have been Sir Walter Scott. Alright, so yeah, I think perhaps Abyss, obviously you never know exactly what's going to happen, but you do expect your opponents to go, wish you had more than 10 Aztec 2v2 games, so you know what you're doing, yeah. You expect your opponents to go skirmishers and bow riders. That's just kind of the obvious choice. Dutch, really their only options are pikes, skirmishers, and cav. Pikes not a good option. Skirmishers, pretty good option. Cav is also a good option. A teammate as Sue. Bow riders are kind of like their bread and butter. Axe riders are a decent option. Seton bows are a decent option, but bow riders and skirmishers would definitely what you would expect from Sue and Dutch. And if Ottomans had gone Abyss and Mace with enough Puma to keep Axe riders off, then they could do really well. It is worth noting that they saw 5 Axe riders at the start, so they didn't know if 4 Axe riders were shipped or not. Hazza did have it in deck, so perhaps it could have been only one Axe rider built. And if that was the case, then you would be you at least built one. And if Sue is going Axe riders, you definitely need to have enough anti-cav. But they decided to go with barracks before that corral was even built. So good games. We'll look at the post-game stats real quick. Hey, Sir Musket. Yeah, good games. Yeah. Yeah, good games. I'm glad I was able to cast for you guys. I was definitely rooting for you guys in game number 2. That was really, really close. Not until the very end was it, well, until you guys called GG was it decided. Not until the end of that fight. Looking at combat XP, we see Ozmane doing really well, and we also see Patrick doing really well. The combat XP was really close. Looking at the military, pretty close all in all. Obviously high there, but this is one of the reasons why I don't look at units killed over combat XP, because it doesn't. Combat XP takes into account the resources and the population of units it also takes into account if buildings are destroyed, which does matter. If you destroy buildings, that's going to give you an advantage. It's not directly destroying military, but it gives you a military advantage. So that's why I like looking at combat XP. Oftentimes, though, it's worth looking at both, especially in a game with Aztecs. Aztecs, I don't believe he used his chief a whole lot that game, but the Aztec chief providing double XP is really nice, and it inflates your combat XP. Looking at resources gathered, we can see Aztecs pretty low. Let's look at his deck real quick. He didn't send Team 3 Vills or 5 Vills till later. They just tried to get a really hard push, which I think was the right choice versus Sue and Dutch. But we do see that Dutch eco just insane. There's a reason why they're considered one of the best civs in team on EP. It wasn't a 2v1. Musket did an all-in build. Yep, I agree. And I agree with that. Versus Sue and Dutch, you need to put a lot of pressure before Dutch gets banks out. So, yeah. GG. Military unit population there. We see Sir Musket actually had the most military pop from 6 minutes 30 seconds, basically until 7 minutes 50 seconds. So there was a timing window where they had a really good push there. Villager population, we'll take a look at that. And we'll go to team stats for you guys too, just so you guys can see. Yeah, resources gathered. You can see just the banks doing a lot. Yeah, good games. That concludes this semifinals match.